never liked being an only child. I don't think I would have wanted Mary to have been either. I think she'd have liked to have had brothers and sisters, don't you?
I'm sure of it.
I'll never take her place, though.
I know that. But I'm sure up there, wherever she is, she knows that too.
In a moment, the ITN news headlines and the Thames news headlines, followed by the Young Doctors, where there's a transfer request at 3:20.
Buy any Persil automatic washing powder, and for every 10 washes, you can do an extra one free.
Marvellous.
Persil, now with added value.
When I first opened the packet, I thought, what's this?
Helen Fuster has discovered Always Plus, a revolutionary towel with wings.
The wings helped you feel a lot more protected.
Always Plus has a revolutionary one-way dry weave top sheet, which extends into protective wings that wrap around the sides of your underwear and hold the towel securely in place. Dry weave draws virtually everything into the towel, so the surface stays fresh and dry, and you have the extra protection of wings.
Well, throughout the whole day and the whole game of tennis, I felt fresh and dry.
Always Plus. Always fresher, always drier, plus the extra protection of wings.
Ah. Golden Wonder pots. Pots more ooh, pots more ah, and pots more
Good afternoon. The Prime Minister has opened the emergency Commons debate on the economy. He said that Britain couldn't re-enter the European exchange rate mechanism until it was reformed, and he didn't expect that to happen soon.
With the weather in London roughly reflecting the government's mood, MPs were today returning to the Commons to debate exactly which direction the government's economic policy should now be heading. After a difficult few weeks, and with his previous policy apparently in tatters, Mr. Major told a packed House he accepted full responsibility for the current difficulties.
I take full responsibility for the actions and policies of my Chancellor.
Joining the ERM was, he said, a move fully supported by the opposition.
The Leader of the Opposition, whom I warmly welcome to his new responsibilities, was consistent in his support for the exchange rate mechanism. When we joined it, the Right Honourable Gentleman supported us and agreed. When I announced the exchange rate central figure,
Order!
The Right Honourable Gentleman was generous enough to agree.
There would, he said, be no change in the government's immediate and primary goal, beating inflation and creating the conditions for stable and consistent economic growth.
The Heritage Secretary David Mellor wasn't in the Commons for the emergency economy debate. Speculation is growing that he's about to resign, despite his insistence last night that he would not be forced out by the press. It's thought his fate could rest in the hands of the influential Tory 1922 Backbench Committee, which is meeting in a few hours' time. Rolls-Royce Motors is axing nearly 1,000 jobs at its plant at Crewe in Cheshire. The company's chairman said he deeply regretted the redundancies, but said he saw no sign of recovery in the motor industry. It comes amid fears that Ford may announce big job cuts later today. The company is holding talks with its main unions now.
Rolls-Royce has been hit hard by the recession in the luxury car market, Already its workforce has been reduced by 1,700. The company called the latest cutbacks deeply regrettable, but the chief executive said there was no choice faced with such a dramatic downturn in business.
I'll give you a statistic. It's declined 65% in terms of sales volume over a period of 18 months. Now, a decline like that is incredible. You can't believe it. It's never happened before. Completely unprecedented. So we've had to take, regrettably, further painful action to cut costs at Crewe in order to get the break-even point down.
Ford, Britain's biggest car maker, is also suffering from a continuing slump in car sales. Already 2 major plants are on extended short-time working, and union leaders fear the company will this afternoon announce major job losses. They're likely to be divided between the giant plant at Dagenham in Essex and Halewood on Merseyside.
A 20-year-old man has been given a life sentence at the Old Bailey after being found guilty of murdering his girlfriend's baby son. 5-month-old Harry Gurney died of brain damage. The man, Frederick Feathers, had denied murder but admitted manslaughter. Security chiefs in Northern Ireland fear the fight against terrorism may have suffered a big setback after the bombing of Ulster's Forensic Science Laboratory. The explosion injured 23 people and damaged hundreds of homes. It's thought vital prosecution evidence may have been destroyed. Rescue workers in southeastern France now fear nearly 80 people may have died in the floods there earlier this week. Rivers burst their banks, sweeping away homes and cars. Hopes of finding around 40 people who are still missing are now fading. And that's the news summary. I'll be back with the early evening news at 5:40. Bye for now.
Good afternoon from the Thames newsroom. A boyfriend who battered his lover's baby son to death has been given a life sentence behind bars. The Old Bailey murder trial heard how Barking and Dagenham Council social workers overruled police advice to keep the child in protective custody. 20-year-old Frederick Feathers was ordered to be detained for life for murdering 5-month-old Harry Gurney. The boy's mother, 19-year-old Joanne Gurney, burst into tears as the sentence was passed and vowed to stand by her bodybuilder boyfriend. The baby died of brain damage after the attack at the couple's home on the Gascoigne estate in Barking. 13 people have been injured in a bus crash in East London. It happened on East India Dock Road in Poplar. A bus driver had to be cut free by fire crews when his double-decker ploughed into the back of another bus. Passengers were showered with broken glass, but most escaped with minor injuries.
The driver was trapped by a door, so we released the door and got the driver out. We assessed the amount of injuries, and we assessed 13 people injured, but this was minor injuries, cuts and bruises to the face, the leg, the arms, that sort of thing.
All I felt was a hell of a crunch. I was thrown forward. I'm not injured, but I hurt my muscles under my arm here where I was holding onto the seat. I went through it. All the other passengers were thrown forward.
A Westminster inquest has been told that socialite Bubbles Rothermere died after swallowing too many sleeping pills. The 63-year-old Viscountess, married to Daily Mail magnate Viscount Rothermere, died at her villa in the south of France after going on holiday with 2,000 tablets in 75 separate containers. Coroner Dr. Paul Knapman recorded a verdict of death by misadventure. A coroner is calling for an inquiry after a London ambulance crew took 46 minutes to reach a man dying from a heart attack. The inquest at Southwark Coroner's Court heard that 44-year-old Daniel Dewona from Sydenham was already dead when ambulance officers arrived. Recording a verdict of death by natural causes, Coroner Sir Montague Levine said the wait was totally inexcusable. There are renewed fears of more job cuts in the region as car giant Ford meets the unions this afternoon. The meeting comes amid rumours of cutbacks at the company's Dagenham plant, which is already on short-time working.
The crisis meeting follows Ford's decision to extend short-time working at its Dagenham and Halewood car plants because of falling orders. On Tuesday, the company announced vehicles wouldn't be produced at Dagenham on 10 days and 5 nights in October. Short-time working was introduced at the beginning of this month. Union leaders from all 22 UK plants will meet Ford's top European management team at their London headquarters this afternoon amid fears of mass redundancies. The Dagenham plant, which employs 10,000, is thought to be most vulnerable. Its future has been in doubt since production of the Sierra was switched to Belgium and Germany, leaving the giant Essex works with just the Fiesta. The recession-hit motor industry's problems have been underlined today with a decision by Rolls-Royce to axe 950 jobs.
As Heritage Secretary David Mellor braves calls for his resignation, it's been revealed that police are investigating a break-in at the home of one of his aides. Detectives say the thieves took a telephone answering machine and tape from the flat in Wandsworth. Meanwhile, the Putney MP has again insisted he won't resign in the wake of recent revelations about his private life. London Transport has unveiled the bus ticket of the future. It looks like a bank credit card and passengers will pay for journeys in advance. It's the first in the country, and if trials prove successful, the smart card will be introduced across the capital. That's it from the news desk for now. The weather follows next, and there'll be more Thames news and sport at 6:30 this evening. Good afternoon.
It'll be cloudy with bright spells during the rest of the afternoon. It'll be mostly dry with a temperature of 16 Celsius, 61 Fahrenheit. Tonight, cloudy with further outbreaks of rain and temperatures 10 Celsius, 50 Fahrenheit.
They told us the recession was over.
The green shoots of economic spring are appearing once again.
But Britain's still looking for them. They said we'd stick with Europe's money system.
We are in the exchange rate mechanism, and we are staying in the exchange rate mechanism.
But now we're out, the government's game plan for economic recovery wrecked. As Parliament is recalled to debate the crisis, we ask, is Britain now dead in the water? This week, tonight, at 8:30 on Thames.
At 3:50 this afternoon, it's Children's ITV, presented by Tommy Boyd. Now it's The Young Doctors.
Now for the local news. The district amateur dance